Hello, welcome to Kabbalah of Adam. We're going to have a fun class today because there's a lot of serious things going on, and we will explain everything that's going on. But it's fixing to come to the shores of America. Get ready. Infiltration from within. And I will go over the volley with you next week on what's actually going on. I have some friends in Mossad and some friends over there that work in the CSI, Criminal Investigation Division, that are doing all the DNA, checking on the bodies. And what's happening over there is it's really hard to even talk about. So what they're actually doing. So what we're going to do today is we are going to teach you how to think. And when I say teach you how to think, this is how I had to learn Torah. This is how my rabbi taught me. And it's the system. It's the system. So let's say our prayer and let's get right in. We're going to have a relaxed time. I would advise take some notes if you're watching this. So here we go. Ruler of the universe, master of all masters, Father of mercy and forgiveness. We thank you, our God and the God of our fathers, by bowing down and kneeling, that you brought us closer to your Torah and your holy work, and that you enable us to take part in the secrets of your holy Torah. How worthy are we that you grant us with such a big favor. That is the reason we plead before you, that you will forgive and acquit all of our sins, and they should not bring separation between you and us. May it be your will before you, our God and the God of our fathers, that you will awaken and prepare our hearts to love and revere you, and may you listen to our utterances and open our closed heart to the hidden studies of your Torah. And may our study be pleasant before your place of honor, as aroma of sweet incense. And may you emanate to us light from the source of our soul to all of our being, and may the sparks of your holy servants through which you revealed your wisdom to the world shine. May their merit and the merit of their fathers and the merit of their Torah and holiness support us, so we shall not stumble through our study. And by their merit enlighten our eyes in our learning, as stated by King David, the sweet singer of Israel. Open my eyes so that I see wonders from your Torah. Because from his mouth God gives wisdom and understanding. May the utterance of my mouth and the thoughts of my heart find favor before you, God, my strength and my Redeemer. Amen. Amen. All right. So today we're going to talk about religion. We're going to talk about Judaism as a religion. We're going to talk about all the other religions. We're going to talk. We're going to think. We're going to understand what's going on. We're going to understand Torah, religion, expanded consciousness, collapsed consciousness, tohu, tikkun, tohu, tikkun, tohu, tikkun. That's the way it works. It's called the tzimtzum. All right. I'm going to try to keep it very as basic and not so Kabbalistic, but you have to use Kabbalistic terminology. All right. So I left Christianity, right? Everybody in here did. Most of you watching did. Why did we leave Christianity? Because we saw it was a religion, right? It was just, they all have the same New Testament, and there's over 5,000 religions in Christianity. They all have their own twist on it. All right. Unfortunately, Judaism has become the exact same thing. Now, with that being said, there are reasons for this. All right. So why do you come to this class? Why do you come listen to what I do every single week? Because when you left Christianity, you thought, I'm going to go learn the truth. I'm going to go to the Jews, and the Jews are going to tell me the truth. And you found out that was the farthest thing from the truth. They're not going to tell you anything. All right? And so you have to start studying on your own at that point. But you're looking at it from a Western mindset. You're not looking at it from an Eastern mindset. You're looking at it from a this and that. It's called a Greek mindset because that's where you came from. You're looking at it from Alpha and Omega, not Aleph and Tav, right? You're looking at it very Greek, black and white, right? Unfortunately, a lot of Judaism looks at it black and white, right? Jew, goy, right? And so this becomes the problem with religion. Then I met a rabbi who religion had shunned. Thank God. And so I spent a lot of time with him. And the first thing he taught me was Metatron. Now, if you just step back and go, Metatron is the most concealed, most difficult thing to understand in all of Torah. But he told me, he said, if you do not understand this, you can't understand the Torah at all, because the entire Torah is Metatron. Now, I'm not going to sit here and teach you Metatron all day today. If you want to learn that, it's on the YouTube page under Kabbalah of Adam. I think the class is called 3 Enoch or Enoch 3, something like that. But it's if you see Enoch, there's, I don't know, 15, 16 part where I teach everything that Metatron is. Now, with that being said, over the years, we worked on this laws of Metatronics. Okay? The laws of Metatronics. I put this up on the website. Many of you, many, I couldn't believe how many people emailed me and wanted a copy of this. I sent everybody one. All right. And so we're going to go over this today because this is the operating system. Every story in Torah is this story. All right. Now, if you just look at an overview on this sheet, you're going to see that we made it for the non-Jew. It has 7 of everything. There's 7 of this, 7 of that, 7 of this, 7 of that. You see how we did that, okay? And there's 7 sets of 7, which is 49, which is Memtet, which is Metatron. So what we tried to do is take the sciences and the thought processes that are in every piece of Torah and come up with a system. And if you look at the very top under Laws of Metatronics, it says a teacher's map and guide to the Merkava mechanics, the chariot. All right. Now this word Merkava is very important, and I'm gonna get to it. Okay. So you left Christianity because you knew that if you put a Catholic, a Baptist, a Pentecostal, and a Jehovah's Witness in a room and said, okay, go, that you are going to see religion at its epitome. Then you got into Judaism and you realized that if you put an Ashkenazi, a Sephardi, a Yemenite, and a Karaite, and a Breslov, and the Haredi in a room and said, okay, go, you're going to see the epitome, the epitome of religion take place immediately. Right? And the word cult is misused. Cult is the root word of culture. Your culture that you live in decides what you do. Whether you came from Auschwitz in Germany, whether you came from Poland, whether you came from Lithuania, whether you grew up in New York or New Jersey, everybody has their own thing. You know, everybody, the people that grew up from the Gaon of Vilna, most of them are brisk. You know, people that grew up here, people grew up there, people that grew up in the Rebbe Nachmanville, they're all Breslov. And it's all love, peace, and happiness. You know, it's best terminology, it's the hippies. It's the Jewish hippies, right? Is it all Torah? Yeah, there's Torah in it. There's Torah in all of it. Is it Judaism? It's religion. It's the religious twist. It's concretized, encapsulated Torah. Is it holy? No. It's got the potential of holiness in it. It has. We've studied it. There's a strand of holiness, holding this world together. And the Hitzonim, the outside forces, are suckling off of it. That's why the nations of the world are great. But when that shefa, when that flow, when that abundance is cut off from the Hitzonim, then you're going to have expansion, then you're going to see real holiness. It will be Levitical at that time. That's true Judaism, true Torah, right? So let me explain. In the Talmud, in Torah, you have 4 categories. Every time you see 4 of anything, you've got to think Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. So if you have Torah Judaism, you're going to have Cohen, Levite, Jew, and Ger. Those are the 4 houses. If you have religious Judaism, you're going to have Rabbi. You're going to have Rabbi, Jew, convert, and Noahide. You see the difference. The polarity is striking, right? So, you left Christianity because it was a lie, and you came to Judaism because you wanted the truth, and nobody was giving it to you. So you searched long enough, and you stumbled across this class where every day we do true Torah, and I'll tell you why it is true Torah. Because it's the mechanics of Torah. It's the way it should be done. There's this whole terminology called the living transmission. What does it mean when you say you teach Torah from the living transmission, from Sinai, all the way through Sinai? I'm going to tell you. Because there's this thing called the Pardes, right? The Pardes is where we get our English term paradise from. So Pardes means you're going to do the Peshat, which is the basic level. You're going to do the Remez, which is the Gematrias and that sort of stuff. You're going to do the Drush, which is going to be the Midrashim and, the Agadas. It's going to be real drushy. Then you're going to do the Sod, which is going to be the secret level. Well, Sod is what we do in here. Sod is Gematria 70. 70 faces. There's 70 faces of Torah. So if there's 70 ways, and there's 70 nations, and there's 70 names of God, and there's 70 ways, the Tikkuni Zohar, there's 70 ways to learn the term Breshit, Genesis. There's 70 different ways to learn it. What does religion do? They pick one and say, this is the only one. This is the only interpretation. This is the only way to look at it. That's not Torah. That's religion. Torah is not static. Torah is holographic. Torah is dimensional. Right? You have to, it's never this or that. Never. It's never we're right and you're wrong. It's both of you are right, but how? Every time you look in Torah, that's what you have to do. And as I go through today, I'm going to teach you how to look at a piece of Torah. And we're going to hopefully have time to do it at the end. So you have the living transmission, which is called the Pardes. You're going from the basic level of Torah to the top level of Torah. We do it in here every week. I will read from the Tanakh, and I will say, Ezekiel says, blah, 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 blah. Then I will get the art scroll, and I'll say, Rashi says, Matsudo says, all these different, the Rambam says, the Ramban says, the Radak says, the Ravad says. I'm working you up the Gematrias. We're doing the Gematrias. We're doing Rosh Tevot. We're taking the first letters of the word and they're making other words. Y'all see how we're working our way up to the secret. And then when we get to that point, Rav Bali would say, and the secret of the matter is this. And I say it every week. I do it every single week. That is called teaching into the Pardes. So if you're not teaching in the Pardes, you're not teaching from the living transmission. You're not. You're teaching Judaism. It was not meant to be that way. And here's what happens. Moses comes down, they make a golden calf. What is the golden calf? Religion. religion is just the golden calf. Moses comes to Moses tells Hashem tells Moses, get thee down. You know, there's corruption in the camp, right? And so the Torah that he was going to give them, he couldn't give them because they had concretized it there. So he had to go break it on there to try to break the religion. And he says, come back up. I got to give you this next Torah. We're going to call it Torah B. Okay? And then they had Torah B. And then we get the destruction of the temples and the Shekinah leaves. You're going to get Torah C. And then all of Torah A is written in the Talmud. But what do? They break it down to Torah C or D. And then they make a halakha. Now, there's nothing wrong with halakha. But you should be able to look at a piece of halakha 70 levels. 70 ways. Every single time. That is Torah. Now, the living transmission is called, and we know the terms in here, Masa Breshit, Masa Merkava. That is how you learn Torah. Masa Breshit, the workings of creation, which is the Histashalut. How it all comes down. Those are all the terminologies that we work with every single week. Then Masa Merkava is how you ride the energy going back up. And you got to explain how it's going all the way back up. Coming down through the Tohu, going up through the Tikkun. This is Torah. This is Torah. This is what you really wanted. What you really came for is to know God and how it works. And the only way to do it is to learn the Metatronic operating system. Because Metatron is the one that's operating the whole thing. All right? So this is how, just trying to get you to look at Torah in a completely different way. Because it's not that they're not teaching something right. What they're saying in Torah is right. The only person I know that comes close to doing this is Bar Tzadok. Bar Tzadok teaches Masa Breshit, Masa Merkava. Well known. I don't know. There's a lot of Kabbalists out there that are on YouTube. I've looked at a lot of them. I don't get the same thing from it. Right? It's Peshat Sod. It's Rashi-isms, right? It's just Peshat Sod. We did a class about 3 weeks ago where I just sat here and read you a bunch of Rashi out of the deal. We all like fell asleep. You know? It's boring to me. Now, the part I was reading in the Leshem, that's a whole different thing. Mm-hmm. Right? But when we got to reading all the stuff, you know, the histories and the this and the that and these people come in and those people did this and so did that. Yeah, it's all true. But is that what you really want to know? You really want to know how Hashem is going to bring fire and brimstone and what it's going to look like. That's what you want to know, right? You really want to know who Gog is. You really want to know who Meshach and Tubal are, right? You want to know. At least I did. And so when I got with Rabbi Bax, he said, well, I can't teach you any of that until you first learn this concept. You have to learn how to think. And you have to learn how to think in Metatron. Right? Metatron is Yud He Vav He. Metatron is Adam. Metatron is the angels. Metatron is the whole thing. There's nothing that's not Metatron. And then he would say, now, tell yourself there is no Metatron. Right? Once you can do that, once you can understand everything about Metatron and then say there is no Metatron, there's never two gods. You can do away with that. Now you can think. All right? So what happened? I'll tell you what happened. It's very understandable what the Jews had to do. And they had to do it to stay alive. For safety. Right? They had to say it's us and them. And if you want to be one of us, you have to convert. So what they did was they captured the term ger. And they made everything that says ger a full convert. Now, once you make ger a full convert, you have to invent something else for the rest of the people. All right? Now, I want you to think about this. The operating system is only Ger. Because once it falls out of Atzilut into Bia, that's the Noga. That's where all the Tohu is being fixed. There's no Tohu in Atzilut. So the Tohu is in the Noga. So Berea, Yetzirah, Asiya, it's all Noga. Remember, Bax would say, if you don't understand Noga, we have nothing to talk about. Because you won't get it. You can't think high enough. I'll give you an example. Moses said, I was Ger in the land. If Ger is full convert, did Moses become an Egyptian? You see, think. Moses said, I named my son Gershom because Gershom means Ger there. So, how can a Jew be Ger? Because it's the operating system. Right? King David said, I was Ger in the world. I was a stranger, a sojourner in the world. Right? They are all Ger. If the Jew is Ger, then there's levels. How many levels? 70. There's 70 of everything. Because there's 70 nations. What's Ger in this nation is different than the Ger in that nation. They each have a fractal fragment. You see what I'm saying? Not the same Ger. Ger, but not the same. All right? So if you look at it as a ladder, here we go. That's a little heavy. Anybody got a chain? I got one. I don't know if I can take this off real quick. All right. This is a ladder. It's a chain, but let's call it a ladder. It can be a chain. This is the Histah Shalut. If I tell you this is where you start and this is where you end. This is the bottom of the ladder and this is the top of the ladder. Okay? Where are you on the ladder? Ready? The Jew's going to say, we're here and you're here. Okay? Ready for this? Uh-oh. Now what? It's not what you're looking at, it's where you're looking from. Now I'm going to do it differently. We'll put it together. Now where's the beginning and where's the end? It's not. Bax would say the end is looped in the beginning. There's no beginning and there's no end. Right? It just keeps going. God has no edge, no limit. The Tohu might, but the Torah does not. Don't concretize the Torah. There is a constriction mindset, Katnut, which will turn into religious dogmas sooner or later. I have a friend that converted, married a Jew. He died. He was my rabbi. She can't be buried in his cemetery because they don't take her conversion. So she had to go to New York to get a different conversion to be buried by her husband. That is pure religion. That's not Judaism. How many times? Because you understand the whole Ger Sugya, the whole Ger concept, that was what was taken over by the other side, by the Hitzunim. You see, because that's how you get in. That's how you get connected to Klal Israel. So the only thing it can take over with its concretation in religion is Ger. Now that's where the whole Noahide thing comes from, right? Well, now we got to come up with a whole new term, to make it fit. So we have an exile mindset, which has religious components in it. And then we have an expansion mindset. This is a Mashiach mindset. There's a Mashiach in every generation. Why? It's waiting for the consciousness of the people. If they would just do one Shabbat, all of them, it would be there. You see. But the operating system is always operating. You know, there's certain factions of Judaism that think Rebbe Schneerson is Messiah ben David. He's graveyard dead. It's easy to look at that and go, well, that's a cult. That's just like Christianity. It's easy from the outside to put that label on there. How do you make that resolution? It's a spark, a fractal of Mashiach ben David. Why? Because when the Gaon of Vilna was alive, he was a fractal spark of Mashiach ben Yosef. It's well known. It both has to be true. But if you concretize it, religion. Every single time. My rabbi used to say, one man's ceiling is another man's floor. If you don't live in the penthouse, you're not the one on top. Does that make sense? If somebody says, no, it's not, it's only this, it's, you know, just go, okay, whatever. You know exactly where it's coming from. Exactly. So he used to tell me, I don't argue with them because their ceiling is my floor. And he stood by it. He would always tell me, this is how you look at everything. He called it the not language. It's not this, and it's not that. It's not this, and it's not that. It's something bigger. When you're reading Talmud, it's not that this guy's wrong. It's not that that guy's wrong. It's not that he's right, and it's not that he's right. What are they showing you? What are they teaching you? What level are they speaking on? Every time in the Talmud, they're always going to take the least common denominator, the easiest way, the lowest level of poskin of we choose this way to think, because you know what? They know people are literally stupid. They literally say, we don't poskin like Rebbe Meir, because Rebbe Meir is way too high, and they're not going to get it. Rebbe Meir literally says, if an Akum does Torah, he is like a Kohen Gadol. He just said if an idolater does Torah, he's like a Kohen Gadol. Do you know they'll run from that verse in the Talmud? What is he teaching you? Level 0 to level 70. Because if an Akum starts studying Torah, he's not going to be an Akum for very long. And who is the Kohen Gadol? Metatron. You will become in the Metatronic system. And you are going to be the head priest of your own Malchut, of your own universe, of your own house, of your own family. Because it says like a Kohen Gadol. Those are non-Jews. They can't be like a Kohen Gadol. Rebbe Meir's just shot so far over that thinking, it's not even funny. It's how you think. You have to understand what these people, what the underlying message. He used to tell me, he used to say, Mike, it's not what it says. What is it saying? These are things you have to learn. It's not what it says, it's what is it saying. Okay? And we covered this already. This is another how to think. It's not what you're looking at, it's where you're looking from. If you are looking from it on level 1, you are going to see level 1. Some of the stuff we teach in here, what do you say? I never thought of it like that. And then, what do we say, Rose? It's self-explanatory. Right? Once you see it, and once you see that level, then that level becomes
can't unsee.
You can't unsee it. That becomes the simple level, right? You're like, oh, well, that makes sense. Now once you start learning the code, anytime you see it, you go, well, that's simple.
Yeah, who didn't know that?
Who didn't know that? They all don't know it. Yeah. Rabbi Baksh used to tell me, Mike, who are you going to talk to? I said, well, isn't there other people that know this? He goes, no, they don't know this. They literally don't. They don't know it. They don't know it. You know, I've gone over there to Israel, and I've talked to those guys. I've taught in all their houses. You know, I'm not going to say a name, but one time I was over in Israel, and one of the Noahide rabbis today in one of their houses teaching a shir, and you guys were there. Their kids are secular. They come up from Tel Aviv. And I was teaching a shir about skin of Leviathan, Esau, the holy head of Esau, and Sukkah. Right? I was wrapping it all in one thing. Because it is. You know, speaking of the holy head of Esau, that means the ger are holy. Oh, go try to make that fly in Judaism. Right? So I did this shir. His son comes up to me, gives me a great big hug, and says, that's the greatest piece of Torah I've ever heard. Remember that? And the rabbi started crying. And it's because it's concretized religion. And I hate to say it, but the times have changed, and they're changing. And we're going to change it. Why does the Gaon of Vilna say that the Mashiach is going, the revelation and the coming of the Mashiach will be brought on by the study and teaching of Kabbalah? And nobody does it. Who out there, besides maybe Bart Sodok, right, is teaching non-Jews Kabbalah, the secrets of Torah? They won't even teach them Torah. No, you can't read the Tanakh. This thing, the Gideons have had this in Motel 6s since the 50s. But no, you can't read that. That's religion. And you see where they've come. Well, it used to be the non-Jew can only read the Chumash, only read the first 5. Well, now it's well, you know, you may can go ahead and read the Tanakh, right? And then it's gone, well, yeah, you know, you may can go ahead and keep Shabbos, right? Well, and now it's come, well, you know, I guess you can study some of the Talmud that pertains to you, you know. And you see where we started? You know, we're like Rosa Parks, man. We're getting off the bus. You know, we started here, but we're gradually gaining ground. And it's come from sheer warfare, spiritual fighting, to gain another inch. Oh, but whatever you do, don't learn Kabbalah. And it's the very thing that tells you what the hell's going on. Why would they want not what? You know? So Judaism in and of itself, they make a barrier. Well, you shouldn't learn it till you're 40. You got to be married. You got to have all these different things. Why? What's the thinking? Because only the guy that stays in Torah that long is going to have the consciousness to understand what the hell it's talking about. You know? My Rabbi Baksh used to say, if they haven't been in yeshiva for 20 years, they don't know anything. Don't even listen to them. And that's 95% of them have not been. Well, you know, I was in yeshiva 4 or 5 years. I'm frum Jew. I grew up in Judaism all my life. You are a culture Jew. Cult hyphenate chur. You see what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, the big hats. That's the one you wear. Oh, no, the little kippahs. Oh, that's the one you wear. Right? If you don't do this, well, you're not the real deal. It's ridiculous. That is not Levitical Torah. That's not temple Torah. We live in a non-Levitical trying to keep the system alive. It's on life support, really, at this point. The mitzvahs and the halakha are solid. It's the rest of it that has been introduced over the years. A lot of it for good reason. I'm not saying that. But now we have an opportunity in this time Look what's happening, right? We have an opportunity in this time to wake up. To wake up. All right. So, let's keep going. My rabbi taught me this. There's only one thing to know in Torah after you know the operating system, right? Which is everything. There's only one thing to know. There's only one story happening. In each parsha, it's one story happening. It's the story of Adam and Eve in the garden. There's 52 stories about Adam and Eve in the garden. Okay? Let me give you a hint. It's the only thing that's going on in the Zohar, and it's the only thing that's going on in the Talmud. It's the only thing here is a story of the garden. So I'm going to teach you in a minute. I'm going to show you a piece of Talmud, if I don't talk too long. The first thing you have to do is say, where's Adam and Eve in the Nakash? In every piece of Torah. That's the first thing I do. I look at the story and I locate those three people. Okay? Once I have those three people located, what's the next thing I do? What would be the next thing I would look for? The next thing I look for is Lilith in the story. The next thing I look for is Metatron in the story. Is there an angel? Right? Is there 2 angels? Is there 3? Next thing I do is say, which world are we talking about? How old are they? Are they 900 years old? Are they 60 years old? You see what I'm saying? Where are we in the scale? How high do I have to take my scale up? I got 70 levels. I can zoom out. I can zoom in. Right? So these are fundamentals. Once I have those things located, let's say I located Metatron. Now what do I have to find? Do I have to find greater Metatron? Then I got to find lesser Metatron. Now if you take every story in the Torah, you find Adam, you find Hava, you find the Nakash. If it's got a female counterpart, she'll be there. Right? Then you find Metatron. Then you find the lesser Metatron and greater Metatron. You have just located the twin messiahs in every piece. Then one's going to talk about this Mashiach and one's going to talk about that one. Priest, king, David, Tamar and Judah, Joseph. You just start seeing it. Right in the middle of the story of Joseph is Tamar and Judah. The hell for? Twin messiahs. Messiah ben Yosef, Messiah ben David. Every story in Torah is this story. You have to see the Tohu, which is where they're working on the story, and the Tikkun is what the heck is Adam doing in the story? What is he repairing? Every story looks like a complete failure. No story has a single failure in it. Because you have to think, Adam is not failing. He's fixing. He's fixing. Nana ben Avihu. This brings me to the next point. Rabbi used to tell me. There's only one concept. There's one story. Adam in the garden. Now, you have to tell yourself in every story, are we dealing with fools? Are we dealing with fools here? Does Abraham not know? Let's take Abraham and the binding of Isaac. Oh, he went to kill his kid. Did he? It said he went to binding. That's why it's called the binding. Does the story not say that Abraham told his wife that God said, take the child up, and me and the child will go up, and me and the child will return, and God will supply a sacrifice? Is that not exactly what happened? You know, exactly what happened. Do you think Abraham doesn't know? That's the first thing you have to ask yourself. In every story, Solomon, David, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you're talking about in Torah. Even if it looks like such a failure, even Saul's failures, does Saul not know what he's doing? Can you hear it on the thing?
I'm wondering if when the air conditioner comes on, they said they can't hear.
Oh, really? Well, I'm trying to talk really, really
I
loud.
don't think you're doing a good job.
I think you are too.
It ain't because of that.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
All right. Well, you may have to go back and watch it in the
Yeah.
video. Okay, so the next thing is, are we dealing with fools here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's coming
okay.
from-
Did they not know what they were doing? Now, the next thing is, every time you hear a story or a level, if somebody said, you know, da 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 da, does that apply to me? Christians try it all the time. Well, you don't keep the commandments. I keep the ones that apply to me. I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a story. The Torah says a king should not have lots of women, lots of money, lots of horses, lots of this, lots of that. Solomon had it all. Why? That didn't apply to him. There's a reason. The Yitzhahara, the evil inclination, that applies to the dummy. Solomon's no dummy. He's the least of the dummies, of all the dummies. Solomon goes and catches Ashmedai and changes him up. Solomon does not have to worry about his Yitzhahara. Now, here we go. Here comes the Ger part. Solomon goes and gets 700 wives from the nations. 70 times 10. And what does everybody say? Oh, they were all converts. They were all Ger. They became Ger. But every story has to be full convert. Oh, yeah, Jethro was full convert. Oh, yeah. The only way to make it fit. Right? Job married Dinah. Oh, the only way to make that fit. What about Queen Esther? Queen Esther is marrying and having union with Ahasuerus. He ain't converted to nothing, full convert. How does Queen Esther remain Queen Esther in her purity and her Jewishness and her Judaism and have a feast that goes on forever? What's the other feast that goes on forever? Hanukkah. Why Hanukkah? Because it comes from the word Hanuk. Hanuk is Enoch. Enoch is Metatron. It came full circle. He is the teacher. So that's why Laws of Metatron is a teacher's guide. It's a teacher. There's 8 days. Why the 8th day? 8th day is Hetav Vel Hadar from Genesis 36. That's Adam and Hava. And they go on forever. Adam and Hava, Esther and Enoch. Yud Hey Vav Hey, and it's the same thing. You can just plug and play. Whatever level 70 you want to go to. It's the wine. It's the secret of the 70. The wine comes in, the secret comes out. It's 70. Think. It's not a religious ceremony. That doesn't apply to me. Okay? How can everyone be right? How can there are no Ger Toshav today? How can that be right? And how can it be utterly wrong? What level are you talking on? What level do you know? Have you read the Ravad? Toshav is a location. Yeah. We don't live there. Still Ger. Right? Why does Deuteronomy 28:43 says it's talking about when they're in exile, the ger will get higher and higher and you will get lower and lower? Because the ger are going to do Torah. They're going to grasp for Torah, and you're going to go religion. I mean, the gloves are off, guys. Sorry. It's a wake-up call. You know? You can't just plug and play dogmatic religion into every piece you want it to make it fit your thing. It can't be static. It has to expand. It has to grow. God's not limit. There's no limit. It's limitless. Whenever you see in the Talmud, we're going to apply this to Talmud. If you see 5 guys talking, it's going to be the 5 Hasidim or the 5 Guvarot, depending on the topic. Is it judgment or is it not judgment? Right? If you see 4 guys discussing a piece, this is going to be the 4 Havayas. The way you look at it from the Yud, the way you look at it from the Hey, the way you look at it from the Vav, and the way you look at it from the Hey. They're all going to have a level. Then, what do? You plug in Asiya, Yetzirah, Bariah, and Atzilut. One of them is going to be giving you that level. As simple as that. If you have the 5 guys, you're going to have, let's say you have the 5 Guvarot. Well, guess what? Plug in the soul. It's the other 5. The Nefesh, the Ruach, Neshama, the Haya, and the Yechida. They're all talking on one of those levels. The entire Talmud is a pure Kabbalah piece. Rabbi Bax proved it to me time after time after time. Go look on all there. Y'all heard it? Y'all know. It's pure Kabbalah. It's the mind of Moses. The Talmud is the mind of Moses. How did the Talmud come about? It's the oral transmission of the sages. Moses struck the rock. God told him, don't strike the rock. Are we dealing with fools here? Why did Moses strike the rock? He struck the first rock, but God said, speak to this rock. This is the higher rock. The first one was Rachel, the higher one's Leah. You know, the old chain thing. You're coming up the ladder. What does Moses know? The Erev Rav is the Klippa, and they have Klippa on that Malchut as well. He has to knock it off. Moses was not wrong. Moses did not let the virus into Atzilut on purpose. Was there a suffering for it? Yeah. All of his teachings are in here. And they're all in there. You just got to know how to dig them out. Right? That's the secret. They're all there. The end time prophecies are in there. We've read them. We know how it's good. We know what's good because we're looking at it from as high a level as we can wrap our heads around. People listen to this class every week and they go, good Lord, I don't know what he's saying, but he's saying something. Right? And we say, just stick with it. Just hang on. The merry-go-round comes around and the terms come around. Just get on and ride. Ride the Merkava. Right? That's what we wanted. That's what I wanted when I came to Torah. Was I wanted this. I wanted to know how Noah built the ark and got the animals on the ark. Now I come to find out they're not animals at all. Right? And you just go, well, I'll be darned. And then you see it. And you're like, oh, you know? All right, let's keep going. Think thoughts. You have to know front side and back side. For everything on the front side, there is its counterpart. Always. The Talmud's no different. You have to know if you're zooming in and studying a piece or a part, it's only part of the sum of the whole. It's only one thing. It's not Adonai, Tzivaot, Elohim, and Havayah. Those are pratim, pieces in one gestalt, one whole thing. You can zoom in and study them, zoom out. You know, it's just one thing. There's nothing different. That's why the Ger Sugya, the understanding of Ger, it's just one thing. It's from the non-idolater all the way up to the Kohen Gadol. Who's Metatron? Who's working in the Noga? It has 70 levels. It has 70 options. It depending on what the Yitzhahara of the person looking at the Sugya is. That determines which halakha you have to pick. So you start at level 0. And as you go up and you control your Yitzer, I read it last week maybe. If you hit Neshama of Neshama, if you become higher, none of it applies to you. You don't have to deal with any of it. It's not that it's not wrong. It applies. It's right. But if you have control of your Yitzhahara, you can transcend boundaries. Right? Judaism has many fences. There's a gate in every fence. That's the secret of Gilgal, the Yitzhahara. It's the secret of Gilgal. You have to understand transmigration of souls. This guy is only this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. It's all from the Nakash, all from that side. It's all Adam and Eve, Adam and Hava and Nakash in the garden. That's all it is. If you make it complicated, it becomes concretized. Right? Everything is birur. Birur means extraction. Every story is only Adam. What the hell is he doing? He's extracting the sparks. Everything that fell out, his job is fix it. He's the plumber. He's the mechanic. He's the electrician. He's fixing the AC. He's the chiropractor. We're all these things, right? We're all just a piece of the part of the body of Adam that's fixing the things here that needs fixing. You know? Give you an example. I'm a chiropractor, okay? As opposed to a neurosurgeon. If you go to a neurosurgeon, he's going to say, you need surgery. There is no toe shop today. Right? You need surgery. If you go to a chiropractor, he'll say, I can fix that. I may not, but it's worth a try. I've been doing it for 33 years. Been fixing lots of them. Don't fix all of them. Fix a lot of them. I've come to know if the herniation's less than 5 millimeters, I'm 100%. I'm 100%. I know my limitations. But it doesn't make him right and me wrong. And it doesn't make me wrong and him right. You see, both of us have to be right. There are scenarios where he is right. If it's past 5 millimeters, I'm sending you to him. It's less than 5 millimeters. Why would you want to go through that? You see?
Yeah, don't do it if you don't have to.
Exactly. So this is what I'm saying. This theological religion has crept into Judaism, has made it an ism. I'm a neurosurgeon. I have more school than you. I know more than you. By God, I'm a Jew, and you need surgery. What? Have you consulted with a chiropractor? A Kabbalist? Somebody that has a different specialty that looks at it from a different way? No, we don't believe in chiropractic. Right? We don't believe in chiropractic. We're a medical doctor. And the world says that we know better than you. I deal with it every day in my line of work. Think. Everything is about extracting the sparks. So if Metatron is everything, Metatron has a backside. You want to know what Christianity is? What Islam is? It's the Hasidim and Guvarota, the backside of Metatron. Mm-hmm. It's simple. Once you know what it is, how to think. If Metatron is everything, what do? Jesus is everything. He's a rock. He's a lamb. Oh, well, you know, he's a lamb at Passover. But once we get over here to Yom Kippur, he's a goat now. You know? I put a post up, I think it was today, Russell, and debunking. And I said, you know how you know when you are wrong? When you worship the sacrifice.
That's right. That's good.
That's how you know when you are wrong. Because it's thinking. Think through it, right? A lady put on there, she goes, I've never thought of it that way. And that is exactly what I wanted to hear. You know? You have to apply the sciences. Zooming in, zooming out. Holography, dimensionality, Mandelbrot set. Google Mandelbrot set and watch one. Watch how it's the same story. It's Adam. The end is looped in the beginning. There's nothing here but the Or, the Ein Sof, and the Or Ein Sof. That's it. The inner lining and the outer lining. That's it. And if you make it even more complicated than that, you're gonna create a box, and you're gonna build you this little religious box. You're gonna jump in that religious box, and all you're gonna see is a box. And then you're gonna tell everybody else that their box is a wrong box, and you need to come get in my box because I own the only right box there is. Right? Apply the sciences. We went over Gilgal, which is transmigration of souls, fractals. Look at it as this: you have a soul. It's a vase with marbles in it, and you throw it off a 10-story building, and it goes. Whoosh. Well, you got to go pick it up. Those are your favorite marbles, and those marbles are called nitzos. They're sparks, and they shattered. So Adam has to take the elevator down out of Atzilut, off the 4th floor. And in this scenario, the 4th floor is the penthouse. He has to go down and he has to go pick up all the pieces and collect all the pieces. Some of them are in the mud. Some of them fell in the water. They're just all over the place. And he's got to clean them all up. And he's got to try to bring them back up. And then somewhere, some of them are kind of really, really bad. So he threw them back down to clean them up again. Because there was a piece of water down there he could really wash them off in. So they had to go back down, you know, and then he has this torch and he's blowing them, you know, a little bit and getting all the crud off of them. That's all he's doing. Good times and the bad times. The twin messiahs. You'll have to find the twin messiahs in every piece. If you notice as we go through the Zechariah class and Ezekiel, I'll always show you where the twin messiahs are. Because I'm always looking. There's a messiah, twin Mashiach. Messiah just means anointed. You know, if it's talking about the priest and the governor right there, you know, this was the Kohen Gadol. Speak to the Kohen Gadol in Zechariah and say to the governor and say, uh-oh, boom, twin messiahs. Right there. The other thing you must know is the klipa precedes the fruit. The shell precedes the fruit. And then the shell gets thrown away. Okay? You have to be able to teach this concept with an orange to a 3-year-old. Have an orange. As the orange grows, the peel is the very thing that's called the klipa. The peel is the very thing that's protecting that orange. Once that orange gets to a certain ripeness, it's ready to eat. Then you peel it and then you throw the peel away. It was the very thing protecting the orange. And then you can eat the orange. Where's the noga? It's the white around the orange. You're teaching Israel and Ger and the Klippa and evil all in a fruit. Because fruit is creation. It's in, you have to be able to see the Torah in everything you do. At work, when you walk outside and you see the trees and the grass, you have to understand there's Torah in all of it, in every animal, in everything. You have to see the creation story. If you think of what is Adam doing, and this is Adam, and this is where it's at, your level of consciousness will go nuts. It'll expand. Because you'll start seeing Torah. You'll start seeing Torah in other people. Friday night on Shabbat, I'm sitting there. Normally, if you call me on Friday night after candlelight, I'm not going to answer the phone, right? And I see it's a buddy of mine. Not only a buddy of mine, this guy is Catholic, West Czech Catholic. And I was like, wonder what he wants. I go ahead and answer it. What's up, bub? He goes, man, you know what his first words out of his mouth were? There's nothing here but God. There's nothing here but God. He goes, you know what? He just called me to talk to me about that. Normally we talk politics, you know, what are they doing? You know, what's the politics? He called me and told me, ain't nothing here but God. And I said, you know what? This kid just got Ger. He goes, you know, I was raised in that Catholic church and them nothing, and I don't talk religion to this kid at all. He's just a buddy. You know, I was raised up with the nuns and with this and with that and da-da-da-da. It's all bullshit. And I'm like, you're right. You know, he goes, I just pray to God on my own. I don't need anybody between me and God. I'm like, this guy just got it on his own. Don't know a Jew, ain't a Jew within 100 miles of him. How does that work? You know, he got Ger. He got it. It's a conscious state.
The frequency's in the air.
The frequency's in the air. That's right. You know? So anyway, stimulation from below. Another mechanics that you have to know. Stimulation from below. What does Moses know that God does not? Right? God's he's going to get stimulated two ways. Pain or pleasure. You got your choice. That's Guvurot. It's motion. You're going to get it either way. Pain or pleasure. Right? He's going to get his stimulation from below. So that's one of the tools. How much time we got, boss?
We're over, but you can keep going.
We're over? Okay. I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish these deals, and then next week, this. And next week, we're going to go over this and the Talmud, and I'm going to blow you away with some Rav Volley. I'm going to blow you away. I'm going to explain everything that's going on in the world. And get you to think first. All right. The Klippa stimulation from below. The dance of Hasidim and Guvurot. Every time you see two people, and one's picking one side and one's picking the other, it's the dance of Hasidim and Guvurot. That's all it is. You know, constriction, expansion, female, male, right, left. You can just go on up. You can take it 70 levels. But there's always going to be the dance of Hasidim and Guvurot. Tohu Tikkun. Messiah ben Yosef, Messiah ben David. Adam and Hava. All the way up. Nakash and Mashiach. Da, 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 da. It always works. Once you have the concepts. I'm trying to teach you the concepts. Now, I said this earlier. It's not what it says. It's what it's saying. Another concept. Another tool you have to always use. Measure for measure. You will get measure for measure. People call it karma. Karma comes around. Karma's, you know, if you do bad things are coming around. Measure for measure. All right? Give you an example. These kids that got killed in Israel. All right? I have a buddy that's in Mossad. So I was like, you know, what the hell? How'd it happen? Right? He says, you got to understand. He goes, all those people that were down there at that festival and stuff like that, these were the leftist, liberal, they secular, non-Torah, nothing. You know, they're really anti-Israel. They're pro-Palestinian. They're down there. They're throwing a peace festival to show love and community, and now we can all live together. And all the kibbutzes down there that had that were doing Shabbat, they closed the gate. None of them got invaded. All of them that weren't keeping Shabbat and got out on the outskirts, din attracts din. Measure for measure. It may sound bad, but that's an operating system of Torah, right? It's part of it. It's part of it. They didn't cause it, but they brought on because they didn't stay with.
They became a victim of it.
They became a victim of it because they didn't color within the lines. Okay? And the next week, this piece on volley will explain all of it. Because there's a piece of Torah that says, that's talking about Amalek. And it says, how does Amalek always kill the ones on the periphery? Because they get out from under the cloud of the Shekinah in the desert. And what does Rav Volley say? They had a loose grip on the Torah. When you have a loose grip on the Torah, you were sent to the edge of the camp. Where does the coyote eat the sheep? On the edge of the camp. What happened to those kids? It's Torah, guys. It's sad. It's horrible. But it's Torah. You have to, the other concept is tohu tikkun. 6, 7. 6, 7, right? Chaos theory. Tohu is chaos. You have to understand, chaos is the only thing that brings clarity. When you're a Navy SEAL, what do they try to do? That when you're in training, they try to put you in the most chaos, high pressure, mental grind in your life. And they turn up the pressure when you're clearing houses. They're up there and they're yelling and screaming at you. Oh, you stepped here wrong. Oh, you didn't go that wrong. You came in like this. You should have came in like that. It's pressure, chaos, chaos, chaos. Because only when you can master chaos do you have clarity. Life is chaos. And in that tohu, that's where clarity comes. What happens? Out of this chaos, unity came to Israel in one day. 65% of Israel is lefties. Blue-haired, tattooed, gay, lesbian, the alphabet people. They get it now. Oh, they get it now. Because fear is the beginning of wisdom. Every 70 levels of fear. Right? Fear is the beginning of wisdom. When you start, we'll end with this. When you start learning Torah, you will learn Torah for the sake of learning Torah. But before long, you're going to learn Torah for the sake of heaven. That's what you have to do. You don't look at Torah. When you open the Torah and you go, I'm going to learn a piece of Torah today because I need to know something. It's wrong thinking. I mean, that's how everybody starts. You know, I want to know. But when you learn the Torah I want to learn Torah because what is God thinking? That's a whole different way of looking at the exact same thing. You just change the words around a little bit. Understand? This is how I was taught to learn my Torah. And this is the guide map of the Torah. You can read it on your own. A lot of it I covered today. A lot of it I did cover. We'll go over it more. And The Torah is amazing, and the sages are amazing, and learn how to think. Get Godlut consciousness, Mashiach consciousness is coming. See you next week.